we just started off by chatting about the difference between home and commercial, enterprise, whatever. And I feel like we just kind of focused for a second there really on the hardware, but I'm wondering if, when a person or a business is looking at their needs, if there's other things outside of just hardware they should be looking at. And Robert, I'm hoping you can help provide some context for that.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things to look at, with not making a mistake is to really look at the job of the machine or the applications that are going to be running on the machine to be able to determine what hardware is most appropriate. I think some people can fall into a trap of, they purchased what they purchased last time, or they read some article and they think that maybe they need this because of that. When, the most important thing to keep in mind is what job is it going to be doing? What applications are going to be running, and how does it need to perform? And that will help you really center in on what kind of hardware you actually need.
Yeah, and I think even just budget matters a bunch too. If I have $500 to spend on a machine, in thinking about what those needs are, what I need to accomplish, I can get a really great machine if I'm really just looking at kind of that low-end computing side of things. But if I have, a lot of different multitasking needs, or I want to do high-end gaming or something that's a little bit farther on the spectrum, I'm going to need to think about where my budget falls in line. At the end of the day, not all machines are created equal. And, that's because different jobs require different backend. And I think those are kind of other layers to that conversation when you look at kind of the software needs and the hardware needs.
So secondary question, because I'm very curious. I've always had the kind of belief that if you spent $2,000 on a computer, that was going to be a better computer than a computer that was $1,500 or $1,000 or whatever. Is that objectively true?
Yeah, I mean, it again comes back to like, what are your needs? What are you trying to accomplish? At some point, there's going to be a diminishing return. If I get this souped up $5,000 computer and all I'm doing is Microsoft Word, that's overkill. So it again comes back to, if I look at what I'm trying to accomplish and then try and pair the machine that's best built for that job, your experience as a user overall is going to be better.
Gotcha.
So I feel like in the old days that I would, me personally, and I'm a nerd. I mean, I'm not as nerdy as Cam is a nerd, but I'm pretty nerdy with my tech. I would buy probably the cheapest computer that kind of fit my situation, and then I would just say to myself that I'll replace that in a year and a half, or 2 years. But now I feel like my needs are getting much greater. Like we're on Zoom meetings all day long. I'm doing a lot more multitasking than I did before. I've got 3 monitors going now, and I'm investing a lot in the hardware side, right? So how do I support this? I mean, now this isn't like something I'm going to replace every year or 2 years. I'm probably going to keep it longer. I might want to add to it. I mean, how do I support this from a hardware standpoint? And I assume that ByteSpeed can add some value to that also. So I'd like to understand a little bit what that is.
Support can become a huge issue or a big concern for a lot of customers. And it really depends on, again, is this home use, more business, K-12, hospital, financial, what is the use case here? If you're a school, you need to have that support behind you. You need to gain trust with the company you're buying the hardware from. And that's really where ByteSpeed shines, and that's what we take pride in, is being able to support our customers with top tier support. If you need to call in, you have an issue, we're going to answer the phones right away, and somebody's going to be there to help you. And that's huge. And that's all about building trust. Once you can trust the company you're buying your hardware from, it's a game changer. You don't want to be stuck with all this hardware and you're having issues with it. Nobody's there to help you.
And I think, speaking from the perspective of somebody who was a ByteSpeed customer before coming to work here, that trust and reliability was like a huge determining factor of why we decided to choose ByteSpeed as a vendor. You think about the long-term cost of ownership on a machine, and a year or two from now, what's the cost? What's the opportunity cost of that machine going down? do I call somebody and sit on the phone for 3 hours before I actually get an answer? Or, can I call Kevin direct and get help, or somebody on a help desk? From my world, when we had, our esports team at the university I worked at, if a machine went down, that meant a student couldn't practice. We didn't have as many, computers available for competition. So it was a huge part of our day-to-day was making sure that all of our tech was up and running, and having that peace of mind, knowing that our vendor was there to actually support us was a huge determining factor.
Absolutely.